How's it going, everybody? Got Martin McNicholl's in the house. And let me get situated and bring him up here. I just had a cool show with Dr. Joe. So let me get Martin up here. Let's see what he's been doing lately. Welcome, everybody in the Zoom room. Welcome, everybody on the Facebook pages and YouTube. Let me try that again. Okay. I think that might be it. All right.
There we go.
What's happening?
What's happening, my man? What's the crack?
What's the crack? What is the crack? What is the crack anyway? CRAIC. What is that? What does that mean?
It's an Irish drug.
It's an Irish drug?
Yeah, it's just for everything and anything. Crack is just like fun, what's happening, what's going on. It's Gaelic. It is an actual word. It's in the Irish language, but it kind of just means fun. You just use it for everything. Everything and anything.
Yeah, Melissa Dehan always says that to me. What's the crack? Yes.
I hear it. I hear it. Whenever you say it, I hear her saying it.
Yeah. Dude, you've been just like, man. I mean, I don't really get a chance to go on and like check stuff out, but I do go on to share, like 30 posts a day on the Soulology group. Yeah. And so you pick up energy and stuff, and so you get little glimpses here. But I know you guys were like traveling around for a while, which was totally cool.
Yeah.
And then you started hitting it with some videos you do, just like you and your kid. And I saw you I caught a couple of parts of a couple of shows you did. So you're hitting that pretty hard. I mean, so, what have you been up to? What's going on? I mean, this is it. This is it, man. This is like I think of that old Styx song, The Grand Illusion. It's like the opposite. Like, you get all that symphony music with the rock behind it, and not a grand illusion. It's more like a coming out party.
Totally. I love that. I love the music. I love like creating kind of multi-sensory experiences. That's been my passion since so long. But like since we last talked, my God, when we last talked, we were talking about that surrender experiment where we went, myself, my wife and son, we didn't make any decisions. Yeah. We were just guided. And that was amazing. That was amazing. But did we hit, we hit the earth very quickly after that? Well, more so me. And I remember we talked about you and Morgan were having an experience, a very similar experience. We were checking out the dates, and the dates was exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
And then after that, my God, I just went into this, like pretty much 3 months of absolute, I'm calling it now death process. I was just absolutely floored. Like I've never been in my life before, just on every level.
Is that right?
Completely like the darkest, deepest depression and like, it's just incredible. Like it was, like
people would look at you I would look at you, and I know all of us. I mean, anyone that excuse me, anyone that says that, everything is hunky dory, I'm like, no, come on, man, that shit's gone now. But I still would think like for you to make a statement like that and say, I went through bouts of depression and such. And I know everyone can relate to it, but I mean, and I've had my experiences since the last time we talked, but none of them lasted very long. But they were very intense. Did yours last a while? I mean, were you like doing some deep stuff?
I'm saying like I've never like I had a 20-year journey with the other types of spirits, the Irish spirits in a bottle and every drug I could get into me, and I've never had a darkness or never had a like I didn't want to be here, like, and it was like up and down and up and down. It was horrendous. I've never had an experience like it. I don't think I have it. Like, I think I got it easy. Everything happened very quickly for me in this kind of journey. And I don't think I had any of the real deep, well, I know now I didn't have like the deeply challenging experiences. I thought I did, but I got to meet death, like death on every level, death of every attachment, death of attachment to my wife, my son, my family, the death of the body. It was like I just went through, it was a death process. Dark half year of the ego is what I'm calling it as well. And it was like I just got to everything dissolved, and I had to let go and let go. There was 2 weeks I couldn't get out of bed.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Wow. Was it in the body too? I mean, it was like your body.
This is the theme. Was coming back to the body, and it was the attachment to the body, and the attachment to life itself, the attachment to physicality, the attachment to, I don't have any fear of death. I've never had, well, not that I've never, since this journey has come, but there was all of these attachments, and I was shown, and I was working with some ascended masters in the darkest moments, but I was shown something that I'd never seen before, where we actually, we talk about the heart and the mind, like there's only two. Well, I was shown like we have 3 heart minds, heart minds.
That would make sense.
Our attachments are on the level of the physical, the emotional, and the mental. And I had to let go of all of these, like one by one, and it was painful, and it was dark, and I was still functioning to a certain degree, but at absolute minimum to get by.
Wow, man, intense. This is like almost mind blown. I mean, it's like because I remember two was it 2? Let me think. Okay, February and end of last month. So there was 2 periods, and I noticed, and actually it happened again. I would say, okay, so it was in February there was a big one, and then March and April there was still something happening at the same time, pretty much during the month. These little periods, I noticed them. So we went down to Florida. We spoke at this conference in January. We kind of traveled around for like 2 or 3 weeks. And Morgan's like, man, I can't do the RV thing, man. I need a break. I need a break. And it all worked out fine. We ended up doing a show, and a lady said, hey, you can stay at my house, and we'll just have an equal energy exchange. I'm like, okay, cool. Right off the beach. Well, she went to Kansas City for 9 days, but in the days leading up to it, there was this, and Morgan has this saying, it's sometimes it's you, sometimes it's me, and sometimes it's just the energy. I don't know what the hell it was, but it was huge. And so that was like really like there was a bunch of those little deaths, right? We were apart for the first time in a year for 9 days. And so anyway, came back, everything. And I noticed a little pattern, and I even said something to her. And so when May came, we're about to leave, and we're going to come to Arkansas. And I could feel it, man. I could feel it in my bones. And I kept going to the RV like 3-4 days. I think I slept in there 2-3 nights. And she's like, are you trying to avoid me? And I'm like, no, I'm not. And I wasn't, but there was something in me that the conscious human couldn't explain, but I was doing what I needed to do. Right. So anyway, we ended up, I came out of the RV one night, and I was like, I don't even know how it came up. And I said, what, do you want to fly? Because I'm thinking I want to be alone. And she said, yeah, I'll do that. I'm like, okay, let's buy a ticket. And it was very unordinary for us to do something like that because of flow of finances and stuff, whatever. But so anyway, so there was another kind of a period like that. There was another one when I got here, but one, I found, okay, I can see it coming now. Two, it's okay to be alone. We have a good communication, because I do have my life with her. And then, but the last one that hit was crazy. We got here, we're looking for a place, there's always stress involved there, plus all the energies and stuff. And so there was like a, like that. I went over here, she went over there, but I immediately went into a euphoric state. And I went to my friend's house, and I'm like in the RV parked in the driveway. I'm like howling at the moon. I'm like, oh, he's like, what are you doing? And because I knew that there was going to be a huge elevation. I knew it. I just knew it. I thought, okay, see this for what it is. And sure enough, the next day, she found this place. Boom, boom, boom. Like everything just went right into alignment. So that's what I've learned. But did you have any type of huge elevation after everything that happened?
Yes, that's where I'm at now, but I like to keep it real, because I don't, like you said, and I love your posts, and I see a lot of your posts as well, and you keep it real. I share everything. I don't leave anything out. I don't like, oh, I'm happy, everything's expanded now. I don't leave out the 3 months where I'm on my arse. But it's amazing that you said that thing about, I think we're so close in the experiences you and Morgan have, and me and Elisa's having, because we met winter solstice 2015. We had never spent pretty much any time apart, like 24/7 in each other's pockets. And this, I think it was 10 days. It was either 10 days or 10, 13, 12, something like that, where I had to go. We still stayed in the same property, but I was completely isolated on my own in the room, like pretty much all day, every day. And that was the first times that we'd slept apart, and like a few times, like very small, but this was an extended period right around the same time as you guys. And, it was just, I just knew what we needed to do, and I needed to give Elise space. But it was intense, my God. But the elevation.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Like that. It was like you're saying, little pieces. For me, it was constant. It was constant. And I would come up for half a day and feel okay. And then the next thing, boom, I'm gone again. But over the last few weeks, I've started to come out. But we talked about the body. I feel it was such a coming home, a dropping of the attachment to the body, the emotional body, the mental body, like the attachments to life itself, what we call life here. And then really coming back into, I know that the work that I'm going to do a lot about youthing and regenerating the body and falling in love with the body again, and seeing the body as a divine vehicle that we don't have to shed to do what we call ascend, or to do what we call, that's what this whole process is about. So there's a lot of detoxing, a lot of cleansing, a lot of that sort of stuff was coming as well. But the body was very key in it, whereas the 5 years before was all multidimensional, out of body. I was spending all my time getting out of body. I was assisting others getting out of body and having these experiences. Now it's like fully embodying as a divine human. And that's kind of the journey now. And finally, it's kind of it's coming back.
I'm getting chills, man. I'm getting chills because I totally relate to everything you're talking about. I mean, I was talking to Dr. Joe about this earlier. I talked to my son, my youngest son, yesterday for 2 hours, and we were trying to we were trying to explain what's going on, because we'd never had a conscious conversation. He was in my field for 4 or 5 days, and I told Morgan, I said, something's up with Teddy. And I don't know what it is, and so I got to reach out to him. So I did. And he's like, I was thinking the same thing. And Dad, let me tell you this. And he's a quiet kid, and we'd never had this conversation. But one of the things that was prevalent in the conversation is we couldn't explain what the hell was going on. He said, I can't really explain it. I can't explain it. And so I'm tying this to what you're talking about, because I find it fascinating. We've all had to go through this detachment thing, the little deaths and the surrendering. And then of course, the last thing that's aligning is the body. But I think it's fascinating that you said I had to let go of and I think the mental and the emotional, everyone's kind of picked up on that, but to let go of the physical.
Yes.
and then turn right around and come back and bring in the new physical. That I really relate to.
And that was by far the most challenging experience that I had. That was horrendous. It was horrendous. Seriously. I was like, there was days, tears, and then there was like rage and anger. And I was like, I was at war with my higher self or war with God.
Yeah, I've been doing that too. Did you?
It was intense.
Yeah. Do you think it had some, because, do you think it had something to do with like the masculine part, like maybe it sounds to me like, because, hanging around Morgan, she anchors a lot. I mean, she anchors to, like, she was flat on her back today. I mean, it came in, boom, she's out. She looks totally disoriented. She can't even walk. Yeah. That's the kind of anchoring she does. I feel like that's something that you do. I'm not saying you do, but it sounds like the same type of energy. But do you think that period, because I was in the RV and I was having, come to Jesus meetings with every divine emissary, with God, with the higher self. I'm like, hey man, F off. I'm here. I'm doing the work. And, the only thing that saved me was Merlin. Merlin came in and sat with me and put up with me. And we did some cool stuff. But do you think it had something to do with kind of like the last vestiges of the masculine being ripped away?
Absolutely. 100%. Because like the form, like the archetype or the whole, like the masculine is the form, it's the body, it's the world, the feminine is the essence. And it's the attachment to form, it's the attachment to the body, it's attachment to the world, it's attachment to things. That's what was dying. So that was the masculine hold of that and trying to control, trying to make things happen. Actually, like trying to manifest, trying to make things happen. That kind of has crept into this world, but that's actually coming from a masculine making something happen, creating something.
Yeah.
These attachments were just dissolved, and I was just like, there was nothing. But yeah, I totally feel that, and I experienced that, and that's probably why it was so fucking painful and so challenging. It was
huge, man. I had incredible, because I was 10 houses from the beach, and I was in the RV, so I would just in the driveway. So I would just get up, and I was doing my thing, my own shamanic way, until 4 or 5 in the morning with music and Merlin but I was connected, and there were so many things shown to me. And one of the things I thought was really interesting, because, in the work I do, obviously I talk to, because the community's, 3 out of 4 are female. And I was watching their field. And I was almost like I was watching the masculine inside of them die, right? Like I could see, I'm like, wow, that's kind of trippy, But then it hit me, and it was really weird, because I thought, wow, this is trippy, because here I am with a female incarnated, that's my divine feminine incarnated, and I'm watching her embody everything with hers. If I don't embody it, and I've heard this is her words, I've heard this for 20 years. I've always been told, if you don't embody it, it doesn't mean anything. So all that galactic and all that stuff out there, bringing it here, anchoring it. And then when I was taking a walk one night, it was like they were saying, man, you're coming the other way. You're actually bringing the information of the experience to all the multidimensional aspects. So it's the reverse. And for some reason that made sense to me. I thought, I'm seeing like the convergence, like they're passing each other by. Yeah. And that's why I was seeing it in the field. And I didn't understand it, but I feel like that whatever happened to you and to me and to many, many other people, that energy at an energetic level, something really big has happened. Call it the birthing of the golden child, call it whatever, but something like there's a line in the sand. We went across it.
Yeah. It was huge. And like, I've been like fit and healthy and strong for years. Like went through a complete transformation, and I was sick. I was like no energy. I just felt horrible. I just like, it was, and then it was just this attachment. It was just like letting go of any vestige of attachment, both to everything. And it was something huge, because I've never had any of those experiences to the depth and the level and the length that I did. but I know I've been in this like caterpillar stage for the last really 6 months. I see it now, and it's preparing me for the next stage of this journey. And you mentioned embodiment there, and that's very much absolutely the core of what is coming, what is here. So that it took like a very deep, very powerful process for me and for whoever else and everyone else that's going through their own journey in their own way, to really take us to the next stage of our discovery, I think. And we're here now. And I think, like, especially this solstice, this eclipse is absolutely huge. And I want to share with you something that's been happening. I've just remembered now, because I think that was just the most nightmarish experiences. It wasn't it was bad, but there's beautiful experiences in this as well. And it's a funny kind of story. And I'd love to see if anyone else has had this experience, because I've not even heard of it. I've been having it, we've talked about my son before. He's like, he told us his name at 5 days old. He's been in communication, doing all of this crazy stuff with us all before he came in and after. But he has been putting me into these putting me into stasis in the middle of the day, the broad daylight. He's putting me into a stasis state where I'm frozen in time in the middle of the day. The first couple of times it happened, I kind of didn't attribute it to him. We'd be doing something, and then I just go like
catatonic, you mean?
Completely not moving. Like apps. And so the first couple of times I was just like, and it could last 10 minutes. One time it lasted maybe 30, 40 minutes, and my mouth is open. There could be drool coming out of my mouth and everything, but I'm in a complete timeless, spaceless, no feeling, not bliss or ecstasy or anything like this, absolute nothingness. And it was varying in intensity. I could move if I wanted. Like if something happened, there would be a fire. Like I could move. I'm not frozen. Like I cannot move, but I know it's preparing me. And I have a feeling strongly that's preparing me for this eclipse and this coming up this weekend. But the first couple of times it happened, I was just like, oh, that's weird, that's strange, whatever. But then one of the times that I was really, really down and I was feeling like not good, I was sat at the table. And I literally, telepathically, I was begging, one of those times, and I was just begging, I said, just talking to my son, who's like 1 year old, I just like, please help me, please do something. And within 5 seconds, it happened again. And he just put me in a state of stasis. That's what I'm like, an absolute, no thought, no feeling.
This is like, wow, this is like totally trippy. I mean, I've been joking around. Well, I was told, it would have been 8 years ago when I was given the name Soulology. And there was about a 6-month period. They were giving me all this information about Soulology, which didn't make a whole lot of sense at the time. But one of the things they said is you're going to work your ass off till you're like 58. Like, so it was like whatever that was, 6 years or whatever. And that was the math. And they said at that point, Soulology as a copy of the macro, that these kids are going to come in, and I understood it was an energetic thing, not a literal thing, not like we would think, but these kids would come in and just take over, like our work is done kind of thing. And so to hear this story and some of the other stories I've heard about these young kids, we're talking 1 year old, 2 years old, 3 years old. We're not talking about, and there are them too at 8, 9, 10, 12, whatever. Of course, yeah. But man, this is like that to me. That really, really speaks to me. It really does.
It's crazy. There was one time we were outside, and it's just me and him. Usually Elise is there. It's fine if I go like into this stage. She just takes him off. But me and him was outside, and he's obsessed with the moon. He's obsessed with the moon. I don't know what it is. He hasn't like told us, but he's obsessed with the moon. So the moon was behind me. And this is all in daylight, broad day. This is not like melatonin induced or anything like this. This is in the middle of the day. And the moon's behind me. I'm facing that way and he's facing this way. And then he just goes like this, moon. And he's got a few words now and moon is one of them. And as soon as he does, I turn around and I'm gone. And this was one of the strongest ones. And I couldn't move at the start. I couldn't move. And then he's 1 year old and we're outside and there's a few places we wouldn't really want him to go. And I'm like, but I have to surrender to it. I just have to let go, and I'm just there, middle of the day. And if anyone could have seen us, I think actually I froze like with a finger up or something weird like that, some crazy shit. If anyone could see this stuff that happens here, it's just insane. But I'm there for 20 minutes, and Elise had to come and get him. She didn't realize what happened. It's crazy, really crazy. But I know it's a preparation. I know it's a preparation for something that is going to happen energetically, that if we weren't prepared, we might freak out. If we weren't prepared, our body wasn't ready for it. It's energetically preparing for, I feel, a huge wave of energy, a huge activation of some sort.
Do you think it's associated with the solstice?
I do. Until I was saying those words to you now, I hadn't thought of that. But as I spoke those words, I feel yes.
Well, Morgan, we connect every night. And most of that, she does the talking. She's the, so this would have been about, I don't know, maybe 10 days ago. And so it was talking about this. And that's what I was going to ask you. When you first started talking, I said, where do you think you're being prepared? Now you've answered that. And it was along those lines. And there was going to be, and it was the whole month of June, that this is all what's going on, all the stuff that, all that stuff is happening, but that on the solstice, the gift would be delivered. And it just, and we've heard, a lot of stuff, all of us, but something seems a lot different about this 3-day period, this weekend. Like something is just like, what, like it's bigger than any Lionsgate, anything we've ever had. I mean, this just feels like a totally different kind of deal. And the fact that it's broken up, there was the eclipse, then there's another eclipse this weekend, and then the solstice, and then there's another eclipse first 4 or 5 days into July. Mm-hmm. And to me, that's like, that says it all, because it is the Trinity. It is a triad. And here we go, so I don't know.
Yeah, powerful. Yeah, I truly feel it. And I feel a lot of times, like what happens with me is I don't get too much information. I don't get details. I just get feelings. And because if I get too much information, I get too involved and I just have kind of knowings, and I just know what I need to know. And it just happens like that just came now. But I truly feel this is something monumental. This is something beyond anything that we've experienced before.
I agree with that. And I think there's a bunch of things that are paralleling. I've noticed, like I look in the field, like I saw this 30-second, 45-second conversation between Donald Trump and his son that was talking about, in a subtle kind of a under the radar way, about disclosure that's about to pop. Like it just didn't, it was like, what is that? And then there's the mask thing. You got states over here mandating to wear a mask in public in the entire state of California. Like what? Like, and then talked to my kid yesterday. He's like, Dad, this stuff is like, doesn't even make sense. What is COVID? Is it even real? Like, and this is, so all this stuff's playing out. And I go back to what you're saying in regard to we're being prepared. What you, Morgan, and many others have said, it looks like the solstice is the, Sandra Walter. I talked to her, messaged her this week. And she said, this weekend is huge. She's doing some special stuff. I've been sharing the post, but I guess what I'm getting at, then going back to what you started at the beginning, you let go of everything. And the last thing was the body, the physical. And now you start with the physical, the divine physical, and you start back up. Somebody put up a message in the, on YouTube on this live right now. Crucial gal. Thank you. She says, I have turned over control to my body. As far as I'm concerned, my body is leading my ascension shift now. I bow to its wisdom. In the last 2 days, I've experienced more energy than ever before. And that's what I told Dr. Joe on the previous show. I feel like I'm literally like 15 years old. Like my stamina, my strength, my lightness of being, I'm doing things thinking I'm not even sleeping. I'm like, well, I should be tired, I'm eating voraciously. I don't know, man. But and that's what I was going to say too. I'll end it with that. When you were talking about your transformation physically and how you went through all this purging, I'm getting the feeling, and I don't really even want to admit it, but my body's like going, hey, you're not going to be doing that anymore. And you're not going to be doing that anymore. And you're not going to be doing that anymore. So it's not really a matter of whether you want to or don't want to. You want to, it's a matter of you just won't be able to do it because you'll be too dense. How are you going to be a light being carrying all that, proverbial weight around,
I feel it. I thought you were saying something else. I thought you were saying you weren't going to have to go through those experiences. I thought, oh, that's awesome.
No.
I get what you mean now. Yeah, some things that that have worked before are not going to work in this new way. And it's not like, I don't think it's a hard and fast rule or a moral thing or anything like that. It's just a vibrational match that's just going to be natural, and it's not going to be one size fits all. It's going to be uniquely tuned for each person. But absolutely, things that worked yesterday will not work today. And things that were, easy or that just kind of flowed. I just feel we're going to, a lot of us, if we choose, it's always a choice. We will have very new experiences, and it's for the good. It's for the good, I feel.
Yeah.
As long as we don't hold on too tightly. But that the lady who shared on YouTube, I got my whole body just lit up.
Yeah,
when she
I love what she said. And it makes sense too. God, I am getting lit, and I knew when we hit this anyway, but the body, look, we're divine. We've found all our divine aspects, all these multidimensional past, present, future, parallel, alternate, whatever. And so the body is too. And this is to me is what's really come in the last week or so. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. So we really are gods and goddesses who have had like this stairway, like where we've been able to bring that higher self or that God, what a part of us, into each one of these dimensions and experiences and realms. And now we're like at what looks like the lowest level, but it's really not. No. It's like the highest level. Exactly. And so we're on the precipice of doing this. And I'm telling you, man, these kids are a big part of it. But the minute somebody breaks through, it's going to be like a fucking avalanche. I mean, people, somebody breaks a 4-minute mile, and then somebody else does it, and somebody, it's going to be that thick. Yeah. I think
and there are beings, I feel there are beings that have been on that bodily journey, and that was very much their focus. And I feel they, like the way that you and Morgan merging, like bringing the aspects together, myself and Elise are similar like that. I feel there's people that have been on that journey very much within the divine body now, but they've been under the surface, and they've been preparing for this time where we would get our heads out of the stars and get bring all that we're bringing, which is beautiful, and which but it's coming together. And like you said, this is not a stepping back, this is a coming out fully as divine human, as divine body, divine vehicle. The vehicle that, like the true light vehicle, our Merkaba, our light body is, oh my God, this vehicle we are now.
You're getting me, like, I mean, I don't know, it's all of us, it's the whole thing, everybody here, but yeah, that's just like, that's it to me. That's totally it. Like, like you said, it's not a moral thing. No, there is an aspect of, let's say habits we have, or things that we eat or how much we eat. When we have that charge about it, like, oh, I'm going to eat this, I know it's not good for me, or I'm going to ingest this, smoke this, drink this, whatever, it's not good for me. We have to get past that.
Exactly.
Right? Like that's one of the initiations, but it's not a moral thing. There can't be a charge. It's like you said, it's like a spirit science thing. It's a frequency. It's a vibrational thing. It's a reality. It's just the way it is. So we're like saying, okay, you can either do this here and stay incarnated and get your rocks off, because this is it. This is the big deal. Or you can go ahead and transition, and that's cool too. And you'll be able to experience it because this is the universe and you can experience anything you want. But this is real time, in the moment, present. And I think this is what this is. I really do.
Yeah, for sure. And it's a powerful, powerful time. And it's like, I think it is a shift. It's a turn. Like you said, like people might have that perception, like focusing on my body. That's my 3D body. It's not the 3D body we're talking about here. These bodies are becoming light. They're becoming crystalline. And they are crystalline, but we are shedding the layers of delusion around our crystalline nature, And like you said, there'll be certain ways, certain things, certain habits, or certain things in our environment, not only what we ingest, there'll be certain things in our environment that just will not be conducive to that crystalline body. Lots of people will be moving location, lots of people will be relationships will be moving the other way, and people will be experiencing that. And if they just trust that innate nature, they will be discovering their crystalline nature. And it's a celebration. It's a celebration time.
Well, and I think about this too. I was thinking about this last night. I went for a walk and I stayed up by myself last night after Morgan went to bed for 2 or 3 hours. And I was thinking, people talk about the flash and they talk about disclosure and like all these big things out here that are going to be like, everyone's going, but I was thinking last night, I thought, you know what? What's the one thing that would like level the playing field immediately? And that would be what you're talking about. That would be like, and it's not about in the paper or on the internet or on a talk show. It's just, you wake up going, holy shit. I told Morgan yesterday afternoon, we were driving around, I said, I feel like I'm on a hallucinogenic. She goes, what do you mean? I said, everything is like, really like, whether it's a color or a sound, it's right in my face. When I started the show this morning with Dr. Joe, right about an hour after she got hit with that energy, it was warbling. Joe's on the other end of it, and it's like going wah, wah. And I could hear every sound. I could hear the wind on his mic. I could hear it, and I thought, oh my God, this is horrible. And then I realized it was me. Nobody was saying anything about it. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. But I think that's what I'm talking about. I think we're going to get up each day and I don't know if there's going to be like a snap, and it just all happens, but it's just happening. And like, you can't deny it. Nobody could deny it. Putin, Trump, anybody, and it levels the playing field, because with that experience can only come a certain level of code consciously implanted and embodied. And that changes everything.
And I feel myself and you, we kind of have this same, I've just noticed, and this things that really resonate with me and you, is that I don't, and the channeling and everything that I've received, I don't really subscribe to what you said, like the way you said, like there's one event, like the singular event, or something happens and then everything changes. Like that's linear. That's in time.
True.
That's kind of everyone just wishing for the savior to arrive, or the flash to arrive, or disclosure to happen. The one moment, then everything is good. But it's a natural unfolding that one day it's just going to fall away. Like it's happening for you, it's happening for me. I get that. Elise has had that for a long time, where like she goes into some places and she has to go out again because everything's moving. And like I've not really had that, but I've had several experiences like that now, and it's like everything's like disorientated. I feel good, but the reality is merging, it's melting. Yeah. But I just feel too many people get caught up on like a linear event, a time happening, a savior, a blah, whatever, that pinpoints something that they're waiting for. Whereas, and I feel this is what you share as well, it's about focus inside of you, focus on your daily, your moment to moment experiences, and how can you expand, and how can I look at this differently, and how can I be more fully myself. And that natural unfoldment will just, yes, maybe one day you'll wake up and everything will be clearer, but I don't feel this is like that.
No, I think you're right. That was very well explained. That was very well explained. It comes in increments, which is a kind of a linear description, but that's the best I can do. But like, for example, I noticed, we were talking about our solitude, our apart time, right, from our partner and stuff like that, and the things that happen, right? But what I noticed is an example like this last week. I literally have, I want to say a new set of eyes, but that's not what it is. It's the updated version of Todd, I guess. So the same thing that would have happened a month ago or a week ago, my reaction, my behavior would have been a certain way. And what I noticed in the last few days, I'm just like, you know, it's like I'm looking at myself going, wow, dude, you're getting it. you're getting it, you know. And another great example.
Pat ourselves in the back, you know, where we come from, and all the shit we went through. You got to recognize those, really recognize them, celebrate them, and really actually, you know, bring them out there for sure.
Yeah, it's just like, you know, and I'm not trying to pull that out. It's just I'm like going, it's like I'm watching someone else. Yes. But another good example is this show I did with Broder Bilal yesterday. And Broder wanted to, we hadn't connected since like you and I connected, and we don't talk. Broder's he's a very unique, multidimensional being, as we all are, but he's a very unique, everyone has their things they do. So our communication is, you know, hit and miss. It's very intermittent. So what happened was, he wanted to do a healing, and he'd done one time before. And I don't normally do stuff like that on the show because so many people do stuff like that. And so I said, okay, cool, you know. And so he came on. You could see his face, and he was.
I saw a bit of it,
right? I saw a bit, and it was like, okay, this shit's not going to work, right? Like, to kind of go out, come back in, but at the same time, that new Todd, I'm watching that new Todd, and he's just going, everything's cool, you know, everything's going to be fine. And and the other Todd's going, well, wait a minute, this doesn't work. Well, why? It's not going to work if you have that attitude. So just STF up, you know, shut the fuck up and let me run this and watch what happens. So then he came back on. So this goes on for 40 minutes. So finally, because there was a 20-minute lag, I said to him, Broder, when you hear my voice, shut up and go straight into the healing. And he got it. So then he went for like about 2 minutes. I could pick up things he said, and I still can't tell you, was it from my ears or my third eye? I don't know, but I could get what he was saying. And he went into it, and he goes into it for about maybe a minute, and then he disappears and he's gone. So I'm sitting there, we're in silence. There was about 80 to 100 people. There's 20 minutes to go. And by the end of that 20 minutes, there was 180 people. People were crying. They were talking about sensations in their body. And something in me went, oh my God, this is it. Like, we just got a little preview, you know, and this is what we're talking about. And this is, how do you describe this stuff? You just, you know, but yeah.
That's amazing. I caught a bit of it, but I went out at the warbly part, so I missed the best bit. I need to go back again.
Well, it's just, and it's crazy because it's just, he disappears. I think I started talking in the last 10 minutes, and it was whatever that is, right? The channeling or just whatever it is. I don't know what you call it anymore. I don't even know what the hell we call these things. But for let's say it was 20 minutes, the last 20 minutes. The first 10 minutes of that, I didn't say a whole lot. I don't even know what I said. But whatever was happening, it wasn't me talking. It was just everybody's energy. Everybody was in this non-verbalization, I don't know what you call it, non-human, but I don't know divine human place. And the energy, in the energy created by everybody, in my opinion, created this example or this energetic imprint.
You're back with a bang. That's beautiful. Amazing, powerful.
But I think that's what you're talking about, though. I think what you're experiencing with your kid and all that other stuff.
Yeah, it's crazy. I'd like to go back because we're using linear language to describe something that can't be described. True. But like what you talked about, your point about incrementally. Yeah. The way I'd like to share that is that the increments is not, it's increments in awareness. You know, it's already here, but the increments is us becoming aware of what is already here. Yeah. So that seems in time to incrementally appear, or one day you wake up and everything's wavy or something's new, or that experience with Broder, and like we have that experience, but that the increment is only in perception. Everything is there already, but we're becoming aware of it incrementally. So that takes out the linear, but to talk about it, we have to use language. And like you said, it's hard to put language to things that language doesn't really convey, but it's experienced and felt in that way, I feel.
Man, that's a great explanation. That's a second great explanation you've given today. I mean, that was No, that's very true. And I go back to, because another thing too, right, that I think is really coming to play is as we go about our day, let's say the day's a few days or a week, you can kind of see the whole thing's being explained to you through symbols and through things that are, and so like what you just said, right? I was watching this kid. I've talked about him 2 or 3 times. This Matthias Stefano on Gaia.com.
He's amazing. I love him.
And one of the things he said to me, he said, not to me, he said was,
he did say it to you.
the pyramids that were placed on the earth were power centers. But and then he was talking about the, when the 2 pyramids come together, what is that, a tetrahedron or octahedron?
Star tetrahedron, yeah.
That is the ultimate objective of this whole mission, is for all of us to get to that point, and the earth gets to that, But what he was saying is, when you look at a pyramid, it really is a spear.
Yeah.
It's not a pyramid. Yeah. And because of where we're at, that's what we're seeing. So what you're explaining to me, the increments is really, I guess, how we would try to explain the measurement of the advancement or expansion is an expansion of awareness. So we see more.
Yes.
As we, what I mean? And it's coming into the physical parts of us too, because I noticed since we've been in this place for 5 or 6 days, which she found, or it found us, or something's going on, because there's all this stuff happening. We're sitting in the garage and one light goes on and one light turns on, and we're like, okay, they're calling us. We got to go lay down now. But what I noticed, like last night, really jumped out. I'm seeing lights. I'm seeing things darker moving. I mean, it's there, and it's not like scary, and I'm talking to it all, and it's all the spectrum. It's all what we call dark and light. It's very interesting.
Powerful.
Because I'm getting the 5 senses are being amplified.
Sure, absolutely, absolutely, and they are being, the perception is clear. It's crystalline in nature. It's like all of that has been refined and defined in a way that we can't explain. Again, it's like language is going to become defunct more and more. Yeah. It doesn't mean that we won't do these things, but more and more language is going to be less and less a viable means for us to convey these things. But you mentioned Matthias De Stefano. I haven't seen the second series. Is that Initiation? But I watched the first series.
Yeah. And
something that really helped me in my kind of that journey I was talking about is I seen him popping up with nearly exactly the same thing. I don't know if you've seen it. It was on one of his social, and he was talking about it, and he said nearly word for word what I was feeling. It's like, I don't know why I'm here. Why did I don't want to be here? He was talking about this.
Is that right? No, I haven't visited. I haven't visited any of his social media platforms, but God, man, I have not gotten this chilled or lit up on a show. I can't even remember, but that to me, that is the mark. That is the mark of a what would I? That's the mark of somebody like yourself, like a Morgan, that is getting all that information and actually embodying it past the bullshit, past the cliches, and past the yogi and the guru thing. And because you don't make those kind of statements, you only make those statements. You make them because they really happen, and because you really do have a heart of service. And so, yeah, to me, that's the real deal, man. That's the raw, real deal.
Yeah. Incredible times. It's like we've been waiting, and it's like I feel like you said it at the start. It's here. It really is here now. And how we experience it, how we perceive it, is up to each of the individuals. And I feel there's a lot in the community and the world that are still stuck, might be subtly, but they're still stuck on this kind of savior mentality, or this event mentality, or this thing that's going to happen, or disclosure, all the things that's going to make it easier. It's going to make it like it's it's done.
That's a great point.
There's a subtlety in that people, I feel, they need to prepare, because
oh my God,
just my feeling, my experience, it hasn't been like
you and I are alike. I don't know, you're doing something. I mean, that's a great point. And let me expand on that, why I think it's a great point. Because I'm a talker. I'm a wordsmith, and these are three great explanations you've given that I couldn't have come up with. But this whole savior mentality, this is where I don't have a problem with whatever the narrative becomes in our collective evolution. But to me, there is a too much light, too much dark. It's all the same thing. The savior mentality deal, I guess the way I would explain it is this when I hear your words. What I'm watching happen, this is all June, everything's crumbling.
Yeah.
Everything's crumbling. So those people that say, hey, I'm pro this and you're not, you saw those people in the last month, they're putting up on their, and these are enlightened leaders that are putting, hey, if you don't agree with Trump, delete yourself off my page. Or if you don't agree with, I mean, I'm like, what? But because everything's crumbling, and I'm talking energy here or representations. I'm not talking personally about anyone. I have no, Trump's crumbling, Q's crumbling, all the narratives are crumbling, everything's crumbling. How do you find your soul? How do you test your faith? Take everything away. What do you got left? That's all you got. That's all you need. And that's the whole fucking story. Besides the fact that we can expand creation once we embrace that and say, now how do you want to play, Martin? How can we collaborate? I mean, that's the only thing left.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I feel that completely. Every word that you said there, I feel it. And I know we align with this because things just pop up and I just see it and I was like, oh, that's good. I like, because sometimes it's not popular sharing those things. People don't want to hear those things at times. And I see you go out full, you don't hold anything back. And I love that. And I like to do that as well. And I think like what you describe as well is like, there's a polarization. That crumbling is like the polarization from the not the center where there's neutrality, but there's like kind of these, wherever you just off center, and they're getting polarized and they're getting pushed out and they're getting like, you really have to make a decision. Who am I? Why am I here? How am I going to engage with this new earth, this new reality that I am a part of? And I feel like that polarization is a good thing, but it's going to be intense as that polarization intensifies.
It is a good thing. It's how we design this thing. I mean, that's the whole point of it, the contrast. But I guess we're at a point now. God, I got to keep saying this. My whole body's tingling.
I can see, I don't normally say this sort of thing, but I could literally see wings coming out of your back. And this is something else that I do not, I'm like you, I don't talk too much about this stuff. I've shared some other stuff recently that I would never even say before, but I literally can feel that. It's more a feeling for me.
No, I know. I'm that way too. I'm not totally visual, but I mean, sometimes I am, but mine's always a feeling of knowing. But I just know when there's, and it's happening so much, the alignment, and it's not the alignment of two people, because I've seen this too many times in 2,000 shows. It's the alignment of all the people.
Yeah.
And again, it's not linear. So even though there's 130 people on the platforms watching, 24 hours from now, there might be 3,000 people. They're all part of this. It's not linear. So it's all actually happening. You know what I mean? And it's happening more frequently, but and it's such a subtle thing. We keep thinking, oh my God, there's going to be a chariot come out of the sky, or spaceships are going to, it's not, it's us.
Yes.
I told Morgan like 2 months ago, we were going through like some night after night, right? I said, oh my God, with these shifts that we're having, what are we going to see tonight? I mean, we're going to see like, they're going to materialize. We're going to touch them. We're going to eat dinner with them. She's like, no, I don't think so. I'm like, what do you mean? She said, it's us. It's us. It's going to be Martin and Todd, sitting in on top of the pyramid having a sandwich, before we go home to our family. I mean, this is, what I mean?
I totally agree. And that's the hardest thing for the small human to accept. It's not this other, like, there are aspects of dark and light, and some people are more comfortable with their dark, some people are more comfortable with the light. But actually, that you are the whole show. Actually, it's all about this discovery that's something that was always there, and we're always looking out there. for everything, no matter how like poignantly or poetically or like multidimensionally we can describe it out there. It's not out there. It's here, and it's always been here. And that's that awareness, that discovery. That's the hardest thing for us to accept at times.
Yeah. Well, you know, and two, to have, well, and I go back to Matthias, what you said about him, and the fact that he was
really questioning,
you know, making a commentary that was what you were going through. Well, and it's not even that, it's the frequency. So there's no dogma, there's no doctrine. It's the raw human. And I guess that's what I was talking about when I look back at the last few days, and this old Todd and this newer Todd, and they were like this whole time. I'm watching this person who's me. I'm like, what? But what I was noticing was what happened. I guess the way I would put it, what happened was when any energy presented itself, and it could be Morgan and me going through, you know, or it could be whatever. If I let it flow and the new Todd just was him, it was me, he went quiet. He just stayed relaxed, didn't have to go, man, do my breathing. I didn't have to. I just sat there, almost like, let's see what happens. And you know what happened? Everything's fine. You know, and I'm like, wow, that's, again, it's so subtle. And I think maybe that's part of the whole, you know, the whole step-by-step thing of awareness, because we are that. And if you just kind of injected it all at one time, we'd blow up. You know,
and there'd be no fun. There'd be no fun in that shit.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't want that. The people think they want that, but they don't want it. Like, you want to climb a mountain, you want to feel what it's like to climb the mountain. If you just click your fingers, you're top of the mountain. It's fucking shit. It's no good. You don't have the experience. We're here for
that's what that's what Franco says. He's another unique one. You know, I mean, you're like a mixture of a bunch of people I can think of, but I mean, because you're male too, because that's more of an atypical thing. But so he says, because he's been doing it, you know, all his life, and connecting with different energy complexes and planets or whatever. But he said that on Earth, we were talking about suicide one time, and he said suicide's not what we portray it to be. Suicide is actually not seen that way. But he said, I will tell you one thing, that the people that suicide, when they get through and they, you know, they come to on the other side, or whatever you want to say, the first thing they say is, oh my God, what a fucking blast. I want to go back. And they're not going, oh my God, I wish I hadn't ended it, because we don't see things that way. It's not like that. But that just goes to show you, you know, and this is why, well, it's not why, but I mean, you know, the human is the hero to me. I mean, it's like, we are it. You know, that's it.
Absolutely.
It's not, you know.
And I said, like, like I had a long journey, drugs, alcohol, 20 years, and I had a lot of low moments in that time, but they never lasted too long. But I can say in this period, like a few months ago, I was at the point, it was really strange. In those moments when I was in drugs, alcohol, all that, I had moments where I thought like I wouldn't want to be here anymore, and that I never was at a point where I'd really want it. But I had to get to a point here in this journey, not out of desperation, not out of like there's something wrong. Like like my relationship's beautiful, family, doing the service work that I love, living where I love. There was no desperation, but I had to get to the point where I was willing and wanted, like, want is probably not the right word, but I was willing to just let it all go. And knowing from an expanded awareness of what that would mean, I had to let go of the body.
Yeah.
And that meant I don't want to be here. I'm done. I'm like, this is it. I want to leave. Knowing with full awareness, not like a desperation, oh, I can't see out of anything. I was doing it with awareness, which was a really weird kind of experience, but it was something that I had to go through.
Yeah.
Those thoughts, those feelings.
That's the real stuff,
like,
man.
surrender.
This is my opinion, but this is the highest level of channeling, transmission, downloads, and activations you can receive or having in portals like this, or vortexes like this created by all of us, and people expressing, you know, energetically bringing their truth. You know, that was a big one I got this past week, and I was working through something, and I was in judgment. but you know, at a level that I had never been before. And I was told, you're not, no, they said, the truth is your resistance. The truth will resist you, or you're resisting the truth. They, you know, they spun it on me. It was a chiasmus, you know, where they use the same words and they turn them around.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? And that's what it was. It was like the truth will always resist what's not true. So are you feeling, if you're feeling that, Todd, then guess what? It's on you, pal. And it's always on me. So that's another thing I think that for me, it's gotten easier, no matter what it is. And it doesn't matter. There's no exceptions. It doesn't matter. It's always me. And so then you cut out a lot of bullshit that way and a lot of pain. And, you know, doesn't mean you don't go through what, like you went through. And I've gone through some of that. I didn't go through 6 months of it. And I didn't sound like, but I can tell you in 2 weeks ago, I had a night where I sat there for 2 hours and I told him, get me the fuck out of here. I'm done. You know,
that was it. My exact words. I think that's my exact words.
And my wife, my fantasy fairy tale, beautiful, you know, is here. We've got this, I mean, but get me out. And
I was the same. There's not a single circumstance in the life, or even like what I was experiencing that could say like, that would say that you would want to do it, but it was like that. So I totally get it.
Yeah.
And I feel it's just to the deepest level of that last attachments that you're going through, that whenever you're willing to let go of that, you're free.
Yeah.
And then you're free to fully be.
Man, you're a beautiful man. You're a beautiful dude. Beautiful example. Your family, your beautiful wife, your kid, man. I love collaborating with you.
As we do too. We do too. Thank you so much for having us. And
I really do. I really enjoy it. And I enjoyed this today. We're going to head out. I think we're on in, what is it? What time is it? 4:30.
Right on 9:30. We're about 2 minutes over. 2 minutes over the hour.
So I think we're on again in half an hour.
Thank you so much, brother. I really appreciate it. And all the Soulology family, thank you so much. And support the beautiful people.
Yeah. Hey, and how can we support you? How can we support you? What are you up to? What do we need to do?
Just follow your heart. Follow what you feel inside of you, and don't put it out to anyone else. Don't give your power away to anyone else. Don't look to anyone else. Follow what you know and feel within you now and what is right for you, and follow that to its fullness. And when you need support, reach out to those who you know are there in that way. Yeah. That's all. You don't need to do it. That's support enough for me. Right, and come dance with me someday if I've got some crazy music going on.
Dude, hey, you know what? That's one of the things I'm going to do now that I'm here. And I'll tell you more about that later. The whole setup here, it's like, you know, well, again, it found us, or she found it, or whatever. But I'm going to open up the music end of Soulology again, which has been it's kind of been down for about a year. But I'm going to be looking to collaborate with DJs, and in fact, we're going to do a deal Sunday. It's going to become a regular thing, and it's an open mic, spoken word, light language. DJ, bring your turntable, whatever the hell people want to do. It's just going to be an improvisational 2 hours. So
it was 21:33 and 33 seconds on my laptop when you said DJ. So
okay, here we go.
Just saying 33.
I'll see you later, man.
Thank you, brother. Love you. See you soon.